All right. Good morning, everyone. It's Thursday, my favorite day of the week, because I get to hang out with all of you guys. This morning, I am so excited to bring to you Philip Vincent. So Philip and I have had a couple of conversations, and when he told me what he's doing and his take on all of this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is something that we all need to know about as realtors, a way to really niche down. And I don't know how much you know, but I truly believe that saying the riches is in the niches, right? The more you know about a specific category, the better you can help those peoples and the stronger agent you'll be, the more referrals you'll get, all that good stuff. And so Philip has a very specific niche that will help your real estate business. It will also allow you to earn some additional referral commission type thing that you don't have to actually use your license for. So for people like Corey who are not licensed yet, it can really help put some extra bucks in the pocket. Um, and and I'm not going to give away all the goodies because Philip is the expert here. So, Philip, please, I'm going to just turn the mic over to you. He's had such a great career and he's been doing this for a while, and we are about to hit the storm of this, and he's gonna share all that. So I'm going to highlight you, Philip, and buddy, the call's yours.
Good morning, everyone. How are you guys today? Is everyone doing good? I've been tasked with talking about a subject for 20 minutes today that I could talk about for the next 3 days straight, if you just put the camera on me. And so I'm going to try to truncate this down as much as I can, probably leave you with more questions than answers, but we're going to try to do our best today of learning a new subject that's near and dear to my heart. And so I've been in real estate now 26 years, been a licensed agent for 20 years. And I've done just about everything you can do in real estate. There's 100 different ways to make a living in real estate. And when I heard about Debbie's group that talks about niche marketing and relationship building, I smiled because I said, those are my people. I have to talk to your people because we teach the niche of the senior living industry. And I don't mean building senior living communities. I heard Charles say that they're building them. Some Charles, you're really going to be interested in this. Um, People tell me a lot, what a great little niche you have there. And then I just smile and I share with them the numbers. I see a lot of your faces. I never guess anyone's age, but I guess a lot of us are over 40 years old here in this group. And if you're over the age of 40, I guarantee someone in your sphere of influence right now is helping a loved one find long-term care. And the magic or the secret or the thing that I think most people are shocked by, especially real estate agents, is that the senior living industry gladly, happily pays on average about 1 month's rent to give them a name. So if you give them Bob Smith's name and Bob Smith moves into Garden View and it's $8,000 a month to live there, they will happily pay you $8,000 for that referral. When I say to move them in, I don't mean you're physically a mover and you're going to bring their furniture there with you to the new community. I mean just the name. What this has taught me, or what I've learned in my career, which I discovered back in 2011 through curiosity of where do the best real estate leads come from, I discovered senior living all the way back in 2011. And even back then, they started to say, we can't wait for the silver tsunami. Debbie called it a storm. We call it the silver tsunami here in the senior living industry, and it's here now. Why is now the time, and why you guys are not behind, and why you should be excited today is that you said your mother is 80, Debbie? Yeah, so 80 is the average age or year that someone moves into long-term care. That's the average. So with the 12,000 baby boomers a day turning 65 and the 4,000 a day in this country turning 85, for the next 20 years, this boom, this wave is going to be pointed up and to the right. And so this is not a little niche. In fact, there's going to be over 100 million Americans. There's only 350 million Americans, and 100 million of them are going to be over the age of 65 here by the year 2030. What does that mean? This is basically an unlimited resource. And here's the situation. How many people here want to move to senior living? Everybody got their hands up? No. No one wants to move to senior living. In fact, the reports show about 93% want to age in their own home, age in place. I laughed at that because I thought that number was 110%. Everybody wants to age in place. But what happens to people is that stereotypically dad passes away. Mom's been doing the best she can, and she's had a fall or two or five or 10, and this is the time when she broke her hip. She doesn't necessarily pass away from this. In fact, most of the time they don't. But after that specific fall, the doctors are telling mom and the adult children, hey, mom can't live on her own safely anymore. So a lot of times it's dementia or a fall. About 64% of the time it's a fall. So what does that mean for everyone here? When they start looking for long-term care or being told they have to find it, it sets in motion what you guys will be very interested in here today is what happens when you find out it's 8 grand a month to move mom into care. And we are talking about private pay, and please don't tell me that Medicaid is going to pay for your long-term care. If you feel that way, go to the DMV. They run the Medicaid program like the DMV. I'm talking about something different today. I'm talking about the 70,000 communities in this country. We're going to have over 100,000 here soon that are private pay. What does that mean? It's different levels of care, from independent living to assisted living to memory care to skilled. The word nursing home isn't used the way that the layperson uses it, so I'll teach you some of that in our Tuesday event that we're going to have. But what happens when they find out that mom or dad needs to move into care, it sets into motion a bunch of things. First of all, where will mom get the best care? That's the biggest and number one, and that's the thing you don't have to have a license for today. I want to preface that by saying that a license may be needed in the future, but our referral and placement coach, her name is Christine Sevier. She's in the California market. She's actually writing the legislation for that licensing. So if it ever happens, just know here at Mom's House, the training you'll already have is going to be the appropriate training to get that license to be ahead of the pack. So with 100 million Americans, guess how many people are doing referral and placement in the nation? Anybody want to take a guess? Put a hand up. How many people are doing this? There's less than 1,500 people in the nation doing this nationwide. How many real estate agents are there? There's 2 million real estate agents. 1.4 million of them did zero transactions last year. Corey, you're thinking about getting your license, right? So 2 million agents, 1.4 million of them did zero transactions. So that's poverty level, right? Another, I think it was 400,000 did one transaction with the average profit of 10,500 as a licensed agent. That's less than $1,000 a month. They're also below the poverty line. So what are the 200,000 agents doing that do 95, 99% of the money made? What are they doing differently? The answer is they have their lead source figured out. And for somebody getting started or somebody who's been in this business 20 years, you know very well there's 100 ways to make your phone ring. Some of them are very expensive. Some of them are very time consuming. What I'm talking about here today is building relationships in the senior living industry, not as an agent. I know a lot of you are licensed, but I would tell you right now that is not the way to do it. But as a senior transition specialist, where you help them with finding the care, where you can get paid a referral fee. In fact, they'll gladly pay you a referral fee to work with this seller, potential seller. When they find out it's 8,000 a month, the family scrambles and says, "Hey, we can't move mom in until what? We unlock the equity out of the house." Now, one thing that boomers have going for them tremendously is $30 trillion in equity in their homes. They have over $30 trillion. They're going to take that equity out of the house to pay for care. They're going to trade their equity in for care. What will that result in for everyone here? Well, that's going to result in the most motivated seller that I've ever found. I've spent millions of dollars on direct response marketing. I know what it costs to make my phone ring. The best leads, write this down, everybody, the best leads in real estate are free. And they come from the senior living industry because that flashpoint of when they need the care, when they find that care home, they usually can't move in or won't move in and get that care until they figured out what they're going to do with their house and their possessions. So that downsizing or that last sale, because they have about 95 to 98% too much stuff to make that move, it's really hard to get rid of the stuff. There's three different disciplines that we teach. The referral network or the placement network, which is a $1 billion industry that most agents know nothing about. The real estate industry. I want to tell you guys right now, is this for investors? Yes. Is this for real estate agents? Yes. And the answer is families need both options. And when you go to these houses, you guys have probably worked with seniors a lot. These houses are what I call grandma clean. I mean that lovingly, but they're maybe not ready for the retail market. I always say that mom wasn't quite a hoarder, but she was a bit of an aggressive collector. And with that is a lot of work on the family. How many people here have said no to a hoarder house as a listing? A lot of agents I work with call me all the time because they're like, Phil, this is way too much work, and they don't want to do the work. And so both investors have a play here and real estate agents have a play here. So what I would strongly say, if you're only an agent, you need to either become an investor or work with investors. And if you're only an investor, you need to start working with agents or get your license with somebody like Debbie. That is a great tool for your toolbox. What you never want to do is say exactly what a senior should do. We merely present the family with options, and we always say we let them choose their own adventure with the help that they need to unlock the equity to pay for care. The senior living industry desperately needs this. The average stay in senior living on the blended rate was about 28 months. Post COVID, that's around 21 months. So senior living has a very, very small window to make their money from that customer. We are a census conversion tool. We help them get to that care that they desperately need quicker, and that is why they gladly pay that referral fee. I think I've covered everything. I'm sure I've generated a ton of questions. There's 40 in the chat. Debbie, do you want to kind of corral the questions and give me the most pertinent ones? Because I'm an
Sure.
open book. Let's talk about it.
Okay. Actually, a lot of these aren't really questions. They're contact information for agents. Does anybody have any questions? Jackie has her
Jackie,
hand up. Go ahead, we'll start there.
I always have questions, Debbie. I always have questions for everything. So, Philip,
good,
I'm super excited.
good.
Um, Actually, I'm looking at it from kind of a personal standpoint. So, my husband is thinking about getting his license, and um, he actually is a very patient person. I don't know if I technically have patience to deal with all of that. Um, so I'm curious when you're talking about like senior transitions, there's so many different types. Like I live here in South North Carolina. We have like the Del Webbs, and then a lot of times there's like another section of that where they'll move to like more care, and then it's more like the nursing home. So how do you differentiate like those conversations with the children, or and again, I guess you also have to include the adult unless there's some kind of like incapacity, right? Because they want to make their own choices. So can you give us a little nuance into like that, those differences?
I gladly do that. So what we train you to do when you meet with the family, you're usually sitting in the vessel that they need to sell, the house. You're meeting with the family. The adult children have flown into town. The average child lives 200 miles away from their parents. So they come into town for this big thing that just happened, and you sit there and assessing the person on what level of care they need is what we train on. And so the word nursing home is only used by the layperson. It's not used by the industry. So we're going to determine what level of care they need. When they hear the pricing structure, everybody wants to put their parents into independent living. But usually they waited so long that you usually choose to go to independent living, and then you're usually told to go to assisted living, memory care, or skilled, depending on what level of care that you need. The care costs go up exponentially. And on Tuesday, we're going to cover this in great detail. It's only about 2 to 5,000 for independent living, but then it's 4 to 8,000 for assisted living. Then it's 6 to 12,000 for memory care, and then it can be 14,000 a month for skilled. And each one of those, the family seems like they want to protect their parents by putting them in the lowest level of care. What they find is if they do that wrong and the community accepts them after all their testing, usually in a month or two, they're going to get moved to the higher level of care anyway. A lot of times, families say, this is a bait and switch. Guys, it truly isn't. Senior living is much more profitable as a industry at the lower levels of care versus the highest levels, even though they charge way more for it. And so your husband, I'm glad you said that. It sounds like you might have some empathy, and you said I don't have as much. I'm glad
I
you
don't know
said
if I don't have empathy. I don't know if I don't have patience.
that. Well, patience and empathy, I think, go hand in hand. And this is one of
Yeah.
the only niches that I've seen, guys. I think it's better suited for females. And that's only because I'm being stereotypical when I say I think they have more empathy naturally. And so, men, I'm talking to you right now. If you're not empathetic, don't even start. You don't need to come if you don't have empathy. And if you don't know if you have empathy or not, go ask your wife. She'll tell you in 2 seconds if you're empathetic or not. And I say that because we're dealing with families in a horrible time. People have told me it was harder to put my loved one in senior living than it was to bury them. Think how big that sentence is right there. This is a hard, hard time. Do I make it easy for them to move into senior living? Of course, this whole thing is not easy. We make it easier on the family to know that they have options. So many people join our program that say, I did this with my mom a year ago, 2 years ago, and I felt like I was on an island by myself. I didn't know I had all these options. First of all, to get someone to work, it's kind of like being a buyer's agent for senior living. To work as a placement agent, you're a free agent. You work for the family. You go find them the right care. You take them to 3 or 4 places after you've assessed them, and then they choose which one they're going to go to. When they move in, you get paid. You can get paid $10,000. Um, Sunrise is a community right now paying $10,000 for one move-in. And what it creates is, guys, this is the exciting part. 90% of the time they have a house that they need to sell. So let me talk to you guys about bites of the apple. I don't know why I think of this analogy, but forgive me, I do. Remember the yard darts in the 70s? You throw that spike up in the air and it would land in the ground. That senior is going to land in one of those levels of care, right? Wherever they land, but they usually have at least one house to sell when they go make their first move in. But if they land in independent, 21 months later, they might move to assisted. You could get another bite at the apple, another referral fee if you stay in contact with the family. How's Fred doing? How's dad doing? How's mom doing? When they move to memory care, you could get another one. You could get 3 or 4 more bites of the apple even after you've helped them with their house the first time. Placement industry can make you over 100 grand a year, even doing it part-time, just the placement industry. Now add on the fact that each person you help 90% of the time, they also have a house to sell and the stuff inside of it. That is 3 different levels or revenue channels for you. For everyone here that wants to do niche marketing, this is another way to make a great living, plus get organically the best real estate leads I've ever found. That should be exciting to everyone here.
Yeah. So, Philip, there's a question that was sent to me. It says, how is he targeting them to respond, and how do you contact them if you don't know how to find them in the first place?
Yeah, I'm not targeting anyone. So we're looking for the golden egg. The golden egg is not even the senior, it's the adult, usually the adult daughter. Once again, back to empathy. I call her daughter Judy. It's usually the eldest adult daughter that lives closest to mom, is usually who's has this thrust upon them. The adult children, the brothers and sisters, question every decision she makes. It's a very hard time. So we don't target them. Could you imagine doing a direct mail campaign when the average child lives 200 miles away? It would be completely wasteful. It would be horrible. So instead of finding the golden egg, which is very hard to do, I go after the granny geese that lay the golden eggs, and that's the people that work inside the senior living. In fact, there's about 52 job titles that we teach on that have the ear, and I'll give you a few right now. The executive director gets hired and fired over something called the census. They're like the principal or the superintendent of the community. They know what the family is going through. They know that the family needs to do these things. They're trying to help them convert from a prospect into a client. And so I don't go after daughter Judy herself. I go after the granny goose, guys that could lay these golden eggs to me every single month. The blended average of move outs is 50% a year. So if there's a 100-bed community in your town, which there's probably hundreds of 100-bed communities in your town, they're going to lose 50 of their patrons every single year. So not Ferris wheel, the carousel is going to keep going. They're always going to need the move-ins because so many people are moving out. Remember, they only have that 21-month window to make their money. Did I answer the question? I think I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I fit that category, even though I live more than 200 miles away from mom.
Yeah.
I'm the eldest daughter, and I handle all of her financial things. Like, so I totally get it. I'm there with you. Jose, do you have a question?
Great stuff. I'm going through that right now. So I had a person contact me about putting their mother in, but I no longer live in the area. Do you have a referral program?
Yeah, it's the best day ever. Hey, somebody in another city, do you want free money? Yes, please. So, without question, Jose, we
Well,
definitely do.
I know how to handle a referral. I'm talking about, do you guys have? Because the next question that I have is, how do you know? Because every time that you visit, they're going to show their best hand and everything. How do you know how to choose the place to go to?
That's a great question. And we're getting deep into training right now, but it's perfectly fine. Most people do a tour to show their mother in the best light between 11 and 2 p.m. every day. They never get close to that 4 or 5 o'clock hour because of something called sundowners. Alzheimer's is an evil thing, and they don't show mom they try to show mom in the best light to give her the least amount of care, in essence, trying to save money. What happens after the lights go out, though, and she's there for a month or two, they very quickly will make sure they get put in the right level of care.
My final question is this. So if you refer somebody and they give you a referral, if they get put up on the next level up, so like say 4,000, they go up to the 10,000 or I'm sorry, if they pay you whatever, and then they go up to the another care level, do you get a separate referral for that?
If they change communities, the answer is yes. And so to answer your question, most of the communities I see aren't what's called CCRC which stands for Continuum of Care. Those are very rare. They usually are just because they're all licensed by whatever state you're in. So they usually have a 180 bed independent living license. So they cannot give Jose, they cannot give the assisted living. They have to, in essence, kick them out. But you don't, you'd read in the papers every day if they called it kicking them out. Instead, they refer them out, hence the name referral and placement, back to say, hey guys, you have to go find this next level of care. They do it to protect Fred, but really they're also, you guys know the term CYA, they're also protecting their license. A lot of these buildings cost $70 million and they're all licensed. If they don't make that license happy, they're going to be out of business. And so the answer is almost always when they get booted, if you stay in contact with that family and you know they're getting booted, yes, Jose, you will get another bite at the apple. That's what I was talking about earlier. As they move up the levels of care, most of them offer only skill, only memory, only assisted, and only independent. So great question.
Great stuff, buddy.
It is, and guys, I am very passionate about this. Everyone wonders where the cheese is headed. This country, for the first time ever, is going to have more people over 65 than under the age of 18. That's not good. That's not good for our economy, guys. It's actually horrible. But what those seniors are going to need is tons and tons of services. Dom, go ahead, sir.
So I put my information in the chat. So if you will contact me, I got some other stuff that I need to talk to you about.
Okay. I don't know if I can do that, sir, but I would love to see you on Tuesday where we're going to spend a couple hours together talking about this.
Okay, that'd be great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Dom, go ahead, sir.
Good morning, Philip. I appreciate it. And real quick, I'm going to tell all my peers on this morning. I work for the Veterans Affairs. I work with a lot of seniors. I've been an RN for many years, guys. He is talking about a really, this is not a niche. This is an industry.
Yeah.
This is huge,
Yes.
huge. Philip, I can speak to the Southwest. I know I work with a lot of the care facilities in California, Arizona, Nevada. Is there, big regulation differences in the different areas of our country? If I start trying to do this in Texas or Florida, are there different regulations? I'm an investor in a flipper, and I'm learning the big differences in wholesaling across the U.S. Is this affected differently when it comes to the referrals and as we get into different political and legal requirements across the U.S.?
Great question. Like I said, I could talk about this subject for 3 days. The clear answer is no, not right now. It's not, you don't have to be licensed to do referral and placement at all right now, but it could change. The reason why I think it's happening on the wholesaling side is that NAR is scared to death of what wholesaling is and the not a need for an agent. And like I said, we don't have time to dive into that, but I could talk about it for a long time. Happily, no, there's not a lot of changes across the board. It's usually 80 to 200%. I'm just going to say 100% of 1 month's rent is pretty much the average across the board for today. Let's say that as well.
Okay, and so before we get another question, and we have two more that we're gonna take, but Philip referred to the training on Tuesday. If you guys have not seen my emails going out about his training on Tuesday, the link to register for that training, I've put in the chat a few times. I just put it in again. It is like a hour and a half or so on Tuesday that he's going to really do a deep dive. This is just what he could condense into 20 minutes as a speaker here with a few questions. So James, you're next, and then we'll go to Elizabeth.
Hey, Phil. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sorry I was late to your presentation, and I wasn't sure if you covered it or not, but is there a entry fee to your program? And if so, how much?
We'll cover that on Tuesday, James. So I have to see you there.
Okay.
Elizabeth, go ahead.
Hi, there I am. You may be covering this on Tuesday, but everybody's big question is, how am I going to afford this?
Everybody here can afford this. Even if you work at McDonald's, you can afford this.
Really?
Yes. Yes.
$6,000 a month?
For what, $6,000 a month? What did we assume?
How am I going to afford being in an assisted living place? How can I afford that monthly fee?
Let me start over. We're missing something here. Remember Charles, he announced that they own senior living communities. His biggest and only job is to keep them full. Elizabeth, when you bring a senior to Charles's community, he pays you one time, not every month, one time, a referral fee of whatever the average cost of the care is. So if it's 4 grand a month or 10 grand a month, they'll pay you 4 grand one time, not monthly, one time. They're going to pay Elizabeth $4,000 for bringing them one referral.
That is correct.
That
That
is
is
not
correct.
what I'm asking. I'm saying if I start working with somebody and we start talking about what their options are,
Yeah.
they, not me, how much am I going to make? They are going to ask me, I can't afford $6,000 a month. I'm sorry, that's what I'm trying to ask.
Oh, I love this question. Hey guys, how do seniors pay for long-term care? Great question, Elizabeth. You guys know what the name of my company is? It's
Mom,
Mom's House. So anybody want to guess on how they pay for the care?
they help mom sell their house.
Hey, this is what we'll dive into on Tuesday. But everybody says long-term care insurance. Do you know how many people over 50 have long-term care insurance, guys? I won't ask you because I already know the answer. 3 to 4% of people over 50 in this country have long-term care insurance. So that's out. Some people say my kids will pay for it. I say, well, if that's true, you're a lucky duck. Over 60% of boomers are paying for their kids' lifestyles right now. Elizabeth, you can't get blood out of a turnip. I've learned 2 things in my 15 years in senior living. Don't be broke and don't get old. So that's what I've learned. And so we're helping the people. Keep your mobility, guys. Stay active. Keep your mobility, and that's good for your brain so you don't get Alzheimer's, right? Try to figure out a way to make, by the way, real estate makes the most millionaires. You guys are in the right place at the right time. This can give you all the real estate leads you'll ever need. This can be another way to make a great living. But the answer is, Elizabeth, they have to come up with a way to pay for care. Somebody talked about veterans benefits. There's something called aid and attendance that a lot of people don't know about, that even if your husband served in wartime, and the United States has been in a ton of wars, a lot of, and I'm being stereotypical, so forgive me, of course the wife could serve too. It's normally the husband served, the wife is eligible, and do you think the government just says, hey, Cindy, here's your check? The answer is absolutely not. You have to know to even ask for it. It could be $21,000 a year towards that $6,000 a month. So we're talking about the haves versus the have-nots. If you're dealing with a client that's completely broke, they're going to need to go down the Medicaid, which means you have to be basically broke and destitute to get that. But we're talking about the people that can afford private pay care. There's 70,000 communities. There's less than 1,500 referral and placement agents in the nation. I always laugh because there's 14,000 real estate agents just in St. Louis. So do that math with me, everyone. This is such an underserved thing. And like I think it was Charles that said, this is, or somebody said, this is huge. This is not a niche. This is way bigger than that. This is an American thing that the government doesn't even know how to handle. They don't even, that's why it's called the Silver Tsunami. So why Charles is building these communities is we've got this 20-year run here of just boom.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I
There's
don't
10,000 baby boomers retiring every single day.
Every single day. And the average they move into, what, like Debbie's mom is 80. They're not moving in at 65, guys. There's people on here 65. You're not even, my parents are 67 and 68. You think if I call them and say, hey, we're going to go look at senior living this week, and they'll be like, what do you, get out of here. We're help. They don't need it today, but very quickly things can change.
Yeah, I own and operate facilities, and we pay out $6,000 to $8,000 all day, every day for referrals from, residential agents giving us, their mom and dads, like their own mom and dads, right?
Yeah, their own mom and dads. Thank you, Charles, for proving the point.
So I wholeheartedly support what this man is saying. Never met you in my life, but I approve your message.
Well, thank you. I met an agent about a month ago now. She's in St. Louis, here, my local market. She has worked with, she does about 50 deals a year, real estate deals. So she's a hopping agent. She's doing great. 20 of them, she moved them into senior living, and she did not ask for the referral fee. And I go, what? I said, what? I said, you're not even asking. So she's already doing the work, and she's leaving $100 grand a year on the table. I said, you are probably their best friend that you're
100%.
Yeah, right.
Are you in
champagne pops every time she walks in.
Philip, what market are you in?
I'm in St. Louis, but Mom's House is nationwide.
Got it. So yeah, I represent 100 facilities in Texas, so we can definitely use everybody's help. But yeah, I've got to get going. Philip, I hit you up on Instagram. I saw you here. You got a pretty cool social media platform here. So we'll talk offline. But it was a pleasure to meet everybody, guys.
Thank you.
All right. So we are going to we are going to hop into our breakout rooms now. So you don't have to leave, Philip. You can if you want to.
I'll stay. I'll be happy. I'm happy to stay.
Okay, so I'm going to open up these breakout rooms, and my question to you is, first of all, do you think that you are the right fit to be a senior transition specialist? Because, like Philip said, not everyone is. So do you think that is a good fit for you? And how many of the people that you have worked with in the past 12 months would have been a great referral to a senior home for you, that you could have earned that additional commission? So, all right, we're going to go into breakout rooms now. Here you go.
And I want to say something too. It's not a commission. Your broker does not get a cut of this. This is a referral fee. That it's not a commission when you get that money from the community. Just to be clear.
Okay. Sorry if I said
I just want to be clear because people say commission a lot. I would say it too, but it's not. And because when you say commission, all we hear is my broker might get some. They don't get any of this because it's a set. You don't even have to have a license to do it. I'm that part of it.
Okay. All right. Here we go, guys. Breakout rooms. Go to your rooms. All right. We are getting everyone back here in the main room. Wonderful. Okay. So, I would love to hear from a couple of people in your breakout rooms, anything like earth shattering, amazing that you heard that you want to share with the rest of the group. Peggy.
Yes, we were to, Jose had a lot of things that he contributed, and he's really very qualified to help do referrals. What I was looking at was, it doesn't matter. This has to do with the senior and the senior families. People don't know what's available to them. You don't have to sell a house. Sorry, but you don't have to sell a house. You could rent the house. You could put a reverse mortgage on it, and the senior could keep living in the home and have care come into the home. I know that doesn't fit into what the discussion is today, but they don't know what the opportunities are that they have for their mom or their dad. And I'm telling you, most men don't even think about it or consider it, and are the, no offense, gentlemen, it's a little more difficult to move you forward. So I was the only female in our group, and I've been through this, thought about it, set my will and trust up for it. And I don't know that any of the gentlemen have even thought about this is coming one day, or what they need to do for their families. Just saying, I know that you're going to have this great meeting on Tuesday. Take lots of notes, do your research, protect your family. They don't have to sell their home. I mean, there is a point where they may need to move in, but there's also the village out there. So just do all your research. Do what your parents need. It took my mom 3 years before she finally moved into a place, but we put her through, she volunteered to go through the process so that when she finally did move, she knew exactly where she wanted to go. So it's a process, and it's a long one. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Becky. One more, Lori. What did you learn? And then we're going to go into our second breakout room.
Real quick, I'm a senior transition specialist with Philip Vincent and Mom's House. So it's really a good program, but I'm not on the side of being a placement agent. I do have placement agents that I work with. I would just suggest to get involved in the senior community advocate groups in your local area, Senior Services Network or Geriatric Council. Look them up, see if they're in your area. Also join the Chamber of Commerce. And I guarantee you probably would be the only person that would have this niche, and people will be able to refer you. I'm also a daughter, Judy, and Philip also speaks. There wasn't enough time that he was able to say this, but there's 20 is plenty. I don't know if he's still listening, but 20 is plenty. So that's a list of people that you work hard to get relationships with so that you get referrals. So that would be elder care attorneys, elder law attorneys, and also the sales and marketing directors of senior living communities. You want to know them so that they like, know, and trust you, so that they refer you. And I am an investor, so I got into the program as an investor. So I would purchase the home for cash, no clean out, and no repairs needed, so that they do have the funds to move into senior care. So that's what I work towards. I'm not into the placement agency part, although I know that I would be able to get a referral fee if I did that. Out here in Tennessee, they don't offer the full month, like the 6,000 or 8,000 or more. They offer 1,500 or 3,000 a flat rate. But whatever, I mean, it's everything, a little bit helps. But that's what I would suggest. And it really is a senior tsunami happening. And it really does feel good when you can help other people and you have a solution. And I understand that not everybody wants to move. They want to stay and age in place. The only thing is that they're not getting the socialization that they desperately need. We're social humans. And if you move into a senior living community, they have events and activities to where you're able to socialize, and that really keeps you moving and keeps you young. So that's something to think about too when somebody is trying to determine whether they want to age in place or if they should move into senior living.
And
Okay,
they
great.
could
Thanks, Lori. All right, we are going to go into our second breakout room. We've only got 7 minutes left, so it's set for 6 minutes, you guys. Second round open now. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here this morning. Philip, thank you for coming and sharing with us about the senior tsunami and how we're all going to be able to plug into that and help grow our business. I did just drop the link in the chat one more time for anybody who hasn't gotten it. If they want to come to Tuesday's meeting, where Philip's going to have a lot more time to do this training. He only had 20 minutes this morning, but he'll probably spend an hour and a half or so, maybe a little bit longer even, on Tuesday. So register for that. We'll see you there. For everyone else, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, and with a new speaker and a new topic. So thanks, guys.